Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to take you through how to utilize the online interactive mapping tool for your community. The first thing you'll want to do is go to myconnectedcommunity.org, select your state, your community, and click Go. This will bring you to your online interactive mapping portal where you submitted survey results. You'll want to scroll to the bottom and click on View Data under Infrastructure. On the infrastructure page, you'll be presented with information about broadband technologies, the broadband providers who offer services in your community, and most importantly, the online interactive map. For today's purposes, we're going to click the Share button, copy the address, and add it to a new link. The first thing we will focus on today is the map pane and the tools and the utilization of that. The first thing I want you to know is the default extent button, which is the little home. We'll click on it and it's going to always bring you to this view. No matter what we do, it will always bring us back to this view. Now, you can zoom in utilizing the plus and minus buttons. You can zoom in by double clicking on the map in a particular area that you're interested in. I'll click on that default view. It'll bring us right back. You can also use your scroll wheel to zoom in or zoom out. And you can always click and drag the map around as another way to interact with it. You'll see the My Location tool. If you click this and live in the community, it's going to try to identify the closest location to you provided by the ISP. We have the Find Address or Place. We're going to use 100 Main Street, Smithville as an example. It zooms to that location, drops a small marker, and provides you with some information. We have the ability to turn on and off various different base map layers. So currently we have the OpenStreetMap layer turned on, but if we were interested in imagery and hybrid, where we see both imagery and the roads, we could click on that. And if we were interested in topographic information, you click on that. We could zoom into an area and you'll see where more and more of the topographic information is presented. For demonstration purposes today, we'll leave the OpenStreetMap layer on. We have bookmarks. If you click on that bookmark, it will zoom to a pre-assigned bookmark for the city of Bastrop, the city of Elgin, or the city of Smithville. And later on, if you have a map view that you want to keep, you will be able to click the Add button and it'll allow you to add a bookmark for that particular location that you can always come back to. The locate by providers by address greater than 10 megabit per second by 1 megabit per second download and upload is a very useful tool. It allows you then to add locations. It will drop a point at the particular location, zoom to it, and then provide you with a list of provider information about the broadband data that they supplied in that particular area. You can click on the My Current Location, which is a similar tool to the My Location tool, but if you click on this, it's going to take you to that nearest location provided by the ISP and provide information about broadband service that was submitted for that area. We can also use this little marker tool, drop point on the map, click it, select a point on the map, and it will zoom to that location, drop a marker, and provide you with the broadband provider supplied data or information about who offers broadband data in that particular area. Let's move on and look at the layers on the left-hand side of the screen. You'll note, starting from left to right, there is a small arrow that helps expand the essential legend for that particular layer, an on and off checkbox button, which allows you to turn that layer on and off of the map. And then over on the far right of the layers box, you'll note that there are multiple tools here that allow you to zoom to a layer, set the transparency, or adjust the transparency, or move that particular layer up and down as well. So we have municipal boundaries, county census divisions. This layer is the asset infrastructure locations. These are assets or infrastructure that our engineering team found and identified while doing field validation work in the county. This is not the entire county, does not include all of the county, as our team did not drive every single road in the county. I'll turn on the validation drive routes so that you can see these are their drive routes that they drove. And you'll note that these assets that we have turned on all line up along those drive routes. Those assets that were collected include things like data centers and central offices, remote terminals, utility poles, water towers, standpipes, general infrastructure that is either being used or could be used for the deployment of broadband in the community. Our team also was able to validate various different fiber transport routes throughout the community. And while out driving, they were able to identify areas where they believe broadband data may be overstated and could be further refined. Zoom back out to the full extent. I'll turn those validation routes off. We also include the FCC registered antenna structures. These are structures over 200 feet above ground. Community anchor institutions such as schools, libraries, healthcare facilities, and public safety facilities. One thing to make note of is that all of the assets, these community anchor institutions, towers, any of these that have a symbol dropped on the map, when you click on those, it will tell you information about that particular location. This is the Lost Pines Elementary. We also included FCC programs, and in Bastrop County, Connect America Fund Phase 2 commitment areas were in the eastern portion of the community, along with a small area there north of Lake Bastrop. This was a part of the Connect America Fund Phase 2. Very quickly, I'll also show you the broadband by speeds by granularity. Connected Nation works across the state of Texas to gather broadband data from broadband providers. However, when a provider provides us with their FCC 477 or does not offer to provide us with any information, we have to utilize the FCC service availability data. And so in this map, you'll see light green areas along with dark green areas. Those light green areas are areas where the data being represented is from the FCC service availability. The green areas are detailed service areas that Connected Nation Texas worked with a provider to gather. This is service at 10 megabit per second download by 1 megabit per second upload. We'll turn that off and turn on the 25 by 3, 50 by 5, and finally 100 by 10 or greater. And you'll note that there are no dark green areas that would indicate detailed service areas. So all of these areas being represented in green are those areas that are represented by FCC service availability, or the FCC's 477 broadband deployment data. Bastrop County did a tremendous job of completing their surveys, and so we represent 4 different questions and the responses to those questions on this map. The first one being the answer to the question of what is your current internet service type. You'll see that we have responses for fiber, cable, DSL, fixed wireless, mobile wireless, satellite, other, and dial-up. These red areas that you see are clusters of cable throughout the community, considerable amount of DSL, quite a lot of fixed wireless and mobile wireless. If we zoom into an area, you'll note that I zoomed in too far and I can no longer see those symbols. As it dropped back, and now we can see them. This is to ensure that we help provide additional privacy for those who have submitted their surveys. The next question that was asked and is represented in the map is, do you have a home broadband connection? Those who say they do are represented by the blue dots. Those who say they do not in red. The next question was, do you have interest in additional internet choices? Those who say they do are in blue. Those who say they do not are in red. Finally, the question was asked, are your internet needs met? Those who say they are in blue. Those who say they are not are in red. There are just a handful of additional tools that you might utilize. The Add Data tool, you can click on this. You can go to any of these ArcGIS Online layers and add them. However, those are password protected and you will need a subscription to ArcGIS Online to utilize those. You can point to your own web service where you have online GIS data that could be loaded into this. And you can also add your own GIS data via file format. So Esri shapefiles, CSV, or KML information, all of which can be dropped directly into the map. There's a measure tool that allows you to measure areas, distances, or if you're interested in a particular latitude and longitude, you can drop a pin and it will provide you with that information. You can also utilize the draw tool to make notes, draw areas on the map, various different tools to allow you to do many different things. You can select your color, the type of line you want it to be, whether it's transparent or not, how wide it is. You can even show the length measurement. The last tool is the export map. Utilizing this tool, you have the opportunity to print this map out for your own use. I want to thank Bastrop County for the tremendous response to the surveys, as well as your continued efforts to bring greater broadband and technology to your community. Thank you.